Oh,
Ini soalnya ada iPad. Aku pakai
halo,
HP aja kalau mau ngintip-ngintip contekan.
halo, hello. Is it me
Iya.
you're looking for?
Halo.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Sir.
you.
We are all acquaintance.
May old acquaintance.
Helping your child choose the right major. Sampai adalah audio sendiri, mungkin sebelum kita mulai kita mau sama semua teknis dari asal lain dari mana. Mungkin saya sebelum mulai akan
I'd like to hear the fan.
dengan meskipun dengan tujuan yang cukup jelas, mau belajar apa, apakah nanti mau belajar jurusan apa nanti. Mungkin dulu dari pertanyaan, ada yang pernah merasa soal jurusan ya, itu kalau yang pernah kuliah dan kerja, ada yang pernah merasa soal jurusan, dan sekarang ada yang belum sama pendidikan dari kerja atau sekolah dan pendidikan jurusan. Oh ada. Dan itu berjalan lo pasti kita pengennya karena kita nggak akan mau hal yang sama. Kalau menjadi bisa tepat, maksudnya dia akan mencapai yang tepat juga. Dan mungkin untuk orang lain Pak, kontribusi itu dia. Introduce dengan cerita hari ini. Jadi yang pertama adalah Miss Jenny dari Data Coach. Jadi Miss Jenny adalah Data Coach adalah education consultant. Beliau juga certified people practice. Jadi kita akan nanya-nanya di sini elemen ya. And then we have Michael Paris, Regional Director South Asia at Institution.
Thank you.
Juga ada Pemilihan Listed, Regional Manager at Institution juga. Jadi mungkin hari ini kita bahasanya ada video. Jadi kita akan coba discuss penyelesaian itu kita akan bisa menyelesaikan juga. Oke, yang pertama mungkin kita tanya dulu ya. Kalau ada ya, yes. Kita ngomongin soal color mapping. Ya. Ini di bawah simulasi ini bisa ada jurusan apa yang saya ambil ada jurusan juga atau nanti udah mau saatnya mau harus pilih ambil yang mana gitu. Nah, tulis dengan segala macam tools yang ada sekarang kan banyak banget ya mau itu dengan cara orang mungkin bahasa yang sering adalah istilah ya. Tapi kan toolsnya banyak banget. Ada sekali, ada yang kan kalau ada yang pasti Nah dari sisi yang itu seberapa sih sebenarnya kalau memilih menentukan anak itu sebaiknya dulu itu. Yes. Oke. Semuanya mengerti bahasa Indonesia? Oke. Ya, kita perlu talent mapping. Kenapa sih kita perlu talent mapping? Karena terus terang mungkin kita cuma tahu sedikit tentang diri kita. We only know about ourselves only a little things, ya. Kadang-kadang kita cuma tahu, oh, nama saya Yeni, hobi saya jalan-jalan. Oh, saya mau jadi travel agent aja. Not like that. Jadi ketika kita doing talent mapping, when we do talent mapping, kita bisa tahu our strength and our weakness. Jadi misalnya, ketika dulu saya tidak sepede ini untuk bicara, untuk duduk di sini, saya kalau disuruh maju sudah keringet dingin. Betul ya teman-teman ya? Dan terus kalau dibilang, kamu promosi, aduh promosi apa? Saya nggak bisa ngomong. Terus kemudian my family bilang, okay, you take accounting, ya. Karena nanti you take over our family company. Saya bilang, accounting? Saya seumur hidup bikin accounting nggak pernah balance. Saya bilang, our family company will get bankrupt because of me, and one day I choose the major who my family don't want to join, never agree. I choose education psychology. Zaman dulu education psychology pasti dibilang gini, kamu mau ngurusin psikologi, ngurusin orang gila, betul ya, Miss? Aduh, diomelin ya. Tapi dengan talent mapping, akhirnya saya belajar mengerti, oh talent saya di sini, weakness saya di sini. Nah, dan dengan talent mapping, apalagi kalau kita ketemu dengan profesional, ya itu objektif, nggak karena oh si ini tuh pintar ngomong, dia disuruh masuk marketing aja gitu loh. That is the crucial. Talent mapping itu penting banget untuk memetakan di mana sih cocoknya kita. Tapi tidak hanya itu saja, oke? Okay? Nanti kita lanjut. Oke. Okay. Then actually not students actually going to do this education. Like I saw that actually help the students to find which type major actually. So you ask me what is actually education and how actually how students to find this education.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you very much. So King's Education specializes in helping students to graduate from the best university and best degree to suit their particular circumstances and ambitions. And we are based in the UK. We are established in 1957 in the UK. We have 4 colleges in the UK operating obviously with the UK curriculum, so GCSEs and A-levels and foundation programs, leading to top universities in the UK. And what we're doing with the UK system is that you begin to specialize a little bit earlier than you might do in the local system in Indonesia or in the IB program or perhaps in the US system. So it's important that we take students forwards to the next step, but then open their eyes to the relevant opportunities for them, and then focus in on the most appropriate options for their particular interests. And then in America, what we do is the same but different. Okay, so the concept is the same, that students are coming to us to either complete their high school or to complete the first 2 years of their undergraduate degree, which in the US is still in a general education mode before students declare their major as they enter the 3rd year. And of course, as students are then familiar with actually what they want to study, then they can work out which is the best university and degree to suit them. Because there are lots and lots of options out there for students, and they're not always aware of all of those options before they've left home or kind of as they're progressing through education. So in the UK then, in terms of their majors, so we've sort of decided roughly when they join us that they're more of a sort of science stream or maybe more of a humanities type stream. So we take sort of broad guidance, and then we have our university counselors in each of our colleges, and they are with the students. In fact, the sort of counseling with our students really starts from the first time that we meet them. But once our students have got to the colleges, they have a university counsellor. They will be daily, could even be more than 1 time per day at particular times of the year, but certainly through the week. And then they'll help them explore those opportunities to really pin down the best options for them and to make sure that they've got the strongest possible application. And in the US, it's a very similar type of operation, but as we said, with a slightly different education system. So in each of our centers, we have a team of student success advisors, and they are guiding students through all areas of their life and studies in the US, which credits they should be choosing, which order they should be doing that, and then very much looking at the majors and the particular universities that would be appropriate for them, and then getting that strongest possible application.
Yes.
Mereka pun juga sendiri sebenarnya kita kami sudah tahu kan passion ini bukan salah bagian. Oke, aku mulai dari yang Amerika dulu ya, karena sistem pendidikan di Amerika itu selama 2 tahun pertama di perguruan tinggi yang dipelajari itu kan masih general education process ya. Siswa punya waktu selama 2 tahun pertama itu untuk menimbang-nimbang kira-kira jurusan apa yang mereka suka, mata kuliah seperti apa yang mereka suka. Karena perjalanan studi mereka selama 2 tahun itu akan didampingi oleh student success advisor, ya semacam kayak transfer advisor. Nah, jangan lupa juga yang mereka itu penjurusan di perguruan tinggi baru tahun ketiga. Ya, karena itulah semua sesuatu yang ke Amerika itu sejauh ini belum ada yang bilang wah aku salah jurusan. Karena di Amerika punya waktu yang jauh lebih panjang ya ekstra 2 tahun pertama di perguruan tinggi. Nah, karena program kita di Inggris itu cukup beda dengan yang di Amerika dan sistem pendidikan di Inggris juga berbeda. Caranya yang aku biasa terapkan untuk siswa adalah dari Indonesia ini kita sudah mulai untuk melihat arahannya si anak ya, dia lebih suka dengan tipe pelajaran yang seperti apa, gitu kan kita akan melihat misalkan dari subjeknya apa yang dia suka, apa yang dia tidak suka, kurang lebih itu jurusannya mau ke arah mana ya. Jadi pemilihan untuk mata pelajaran di program preparation yang oke itu paling tidak bisa sesuai dengan minatnya si anak ya. Dengan kombinasi pilihan subjek yang sesuai, siswa juga akan terbuka opsinya untuk progression opportunities ke banyak sekali jurusan di Inggris. Ya. Thank you. Oke, balik ke Indonesia. Ini mengenai metode dan apakah sebenarnya itu bisa memberikan kita yang dari bawah anak ini memberikan itu. Karena banyak sekali anak-anak itu sudah banyak tahu, sudah gambar, studi juga. Tapi anak-anak itu actually good at it, sampai mau dia kota. Ada nggak yang orang tua sudah yang potensi skill ini untuk menjadi jurusan apa yang dilakukan?
Oke. Jadi sebenarnya gini, Bapak Ibu, teman-teman, adik-adik pernah dengar kata passion, ya kan? Passionnya di mana sih? Ya, kalau orang dulu bilangnya passion itu dia suka. I like this, I like to cook. Ya, I have a case happen in my counseling room. Teenagers come and he said that I want to be a chef. Okay. What can you do to be a chef? Oh, I like in Master Chef in television. Okay. After I do the assessment with the student, I said, this not match with your talent to be a chef. No, I want to be a chef. Even the parents say, Miss, please help us. Okay. So I say to the student, okay, you go to the market, you buy 1 kilo of garlic, you peel it. Kupas bawang putih itu, you slice it. And the teenagers look at me with a weird eyes. Why should I do this? Yeah, and I said, do you think all the chef, a good chef, is like only stay in front of the camera and doing well? No, they are starting from the market to choose which fish, which meat is a good or which one is bad. Is that true? Now, in 1 hour, that teenager changed. And I said, you're good in business. Okay. He went to business school. And now he is in the 3rd year. Now he has a business of what we call coating mobile coating, you know, how to handle car. And the mom complained to me, hey, you know, my son now doing business well. How about his college? It's not my fault. I only mapping your son, good businessman. Now only a 3rd year, he is taking university in Indonesia. He has his own business. I said last week, because he handled my car. I said, why you do this business? Because I love car. I like to modification. And he knows. He called me auntie. Auntie, you go to this coating. This is good. This is bad. Okay, put camera there, and he's doing well. That is. But the parents, what should parents do? Encourage. Patient is talking. You can do it, and you like it. I can do it accounting, but I'm not underestimate who like accounting. Yeah, I'm bad with accounting. Yeah, but I don't like it. When I face the numbers, I got, oh my God, I will make the company bankrupt because of me. And when I choose psychology, in my mind, there is no mathematics. I'm wrong. There is 3 level, high level of mathematical statistics. Make me headache, but I need to face it because I like it. Understand? So, patient. Parents can see, you can observe your children. Okay, ini anak suka math. Okay, suka math, suka, tapi bisa enggak? Nah, anak ini suka masak, tapi I suka nih lihat master chef, tapi can they cook well? They want to try to slice meat or garlic, can they try? Nah, nanti ada conversation between parents and children. Kalau nggak ada conversation, I don't think so you will know about the student patient. Patient is, they can do it, they like it. If you can do it, but you don't like it, useless. But if you like it, but you can't do it, what is that? Yeah, I like to bake, but one day I make a bakery, it's like become like a stone. Even the dog doesn't want to eat. That is.
Actually, it's something that you like and you can. So, Michael, so once the students know that actually the patient, that they actually want to study and how things actually educate, because there's so many options out there. Like even though nowadays there's a program or major that of the capitalism. So how things actually educate it's like matching the passion, so-called passion and the program.
Yeah, no, very good question. Thank you, and I liked your explanation. I think one of the things is that students and parents at this type of age, kind of later teenagers, are trying to find the one answer for the rest of their lives. And actually, you mentioned about the area of business, but even if we look at the area of business, actually, it's still very broad. In some areas, we've got very sort of creative marketing through to, as you had mentioned, accounting and statistics, entrepreneurship. There's lots of different areas. Yes. So the first thing, as we said, is about getting into the right, if you like, family of subjects, so that we can explore those in even more detail and keep the options open. With our colleges in the UK, before the students have left Indonesia, we have a very experienced team in the UK of people that have graduated, really strong academic backgrounds, Oxford, Cambridge graduates through what we call the Head Start program. And these are people who've been counseling hundreds, actually probably thousands of students over many years, guiding them through their education path, but also navigating to explore those options. As you mentioned, about thinking not only about knowledge, and sometimes students have an idea of a particular sort of, oh, I like the sound of that career, as exactly as Yemi was saying, but they don't really know what that means. So thinking about that, but also about your personal characteristics and aptitude and interests and how that fits forward. So our Head Start program with our principals will guide the students to think about what they can be doing before they've even left Indonesia to be learning more and to be adding to their profiles for university applications. making sure that they've chosen the right subject areas to keep those options open for them. And then they will liaise also with our individual colleges and, as I said, back to the university counsellors, so that there's this transition from first advice in Indonesia, that continues, students arrive at the colleges, and it will continue over that period. And just to add that when the students are with us, then we have universities that come in to talk to our students directly, so that the students have that experience. But also we arrange for the students to go and visit the universities themselves, so they can really see what it would be like to study there, get a sense of the atmosphere. Is this a place that I fit? And what are the other students like? And do I feel that I could be part of this community? And that can include as well talking to our past students who have progressed to this university. So they've had the same journey, and there's other, next group of students can benefit from that experience.
Yes. Agree.
Durasi saya boleh dia dating years back gitu. Kalau saya mau kuliah apa, dimana itu masih dokter, insinyur, pilot, apa lagi? Jalan dulu, antara jadi dan uang, dagang. Jadi sebenarnya dulu kita ada ujiannya itu sebelum yang sekarang education itu sebenarnya kembali mereka aja. Karena kalau kita di bisnis tidak tahu proyek. Nah, karena konteksnya kan sekarang pasti nggak bisa kayak mau jadi apa, harus aerospace engineer, or kalau nanti belakang scientist, atau mungkin lagi sekarang banyak cyber security. Nah itu sekarang kayak dulu ya apa nanti kita kayak semua dulu ya, apakah nanti investasi saya balik ke ya kalau konteksnya di US, kalau di US lumayan gitu ya, di dunia itu misalnya kayak dulu 10 years jadi ekspor itu jadi bisa kedua kecil. Nah kalau di sini supaya kayak apa sih jalan itu nggak salah jurusannya. Ya jadi kan sudah. Jadi salah satu fungsi utama dari student success advisor itu adalah pembimbingan terhadap semua siswa. Ya, bimbingan itu dalam bentuk workshops misalkan. Banyak sekali workshops yang mereka adakan setiap semester dengan beragam topik. Seperti misalnya pembahasan mengenai jurusan. Students juga dilakukan untuk kampus fisik ya, perguruan tinggi ternama yang dekat dengan lokasi kampus, supaya mereka juga bisa ngobrol dengan orang fakultas. Kenapa tujuannya? Supaya mereka juga tahu sebetulnya apa yang dipelajari di jurusan tersebut. Karirnya itu nanti akan mengarah seperti apa. Ya. Nah, pemilihan mata pelajaran selama 2 tahun pertama di perguruan tinggi di Amerika, selain tentunya juga mengacu kepada kebutuhan kredit transfer di tahun 3 ya. Tetapi elemen yang kedua itu adalah anak-anak harus memilih tipe pelajaran yang juga kalau bisa idealnya mereka juga suka benar sih, ya kan? Nah, jadi advisor itu akan duduk sama si anak one by one dan akan digo gitu loh, ini pelajaran itu mengenai apa? Ya, kalau ada yang nggak suka diskusi ulang. Alternatifnya ini pelajaran apa lagi yang juga bisa terpakai untuk memenuhi persyaratan kredit tahun ketiga, tetapi sampai yang kamu juga suka, ya itulah fungsinya. Itulah kenapa siswa Indonesia kalau mau masuk ke program transfer di Amerika, memang harus cari program yang sama seperti itu ya, karena tanpa adanya bimbingan seperti itu ya, ujung-ujungnya loss ya. Nah, di Amerika tentu kalau universitasnya kan tetap kayak di narasisan. Kira-kira berapa ratus jurusan yang ada di Amerika tuh? 400 lebih itu. Kadang-kadang juga mereka suka ambil apa aja, malah kalau transfer. Ya, kadang-kadang mereka sembarangan tuh ngambil 2 tahun pertama kreditnya atau whatever kita, whatever works, whatever easy, yang ini profesornya kurang
Iya.
ini, kasih nilainya, yang lain gampang banget dapat takungan kok, gitu dapat. Ya, makanya siswa juga perlu rajin-rajin tuh ikutin workshop ya.
Iya.
Terus itu juga banyak baca kan, karena kan mereka juga sekarang udah punya akses yang jauh lebih baik dong daripada zaman kita dulu kuliah loh. Internet aja zaman gua kuliah nggak ada dayo masih dayo pakai itu kan. Kalau sekarang kan beda ya. Nah, jadi banyak sekali itu kan resources yang anak-anak juga bisa baca ya dari online. Tapi dengan kata-kata kita juga harus selalu mengacu kepada sumber yang kredibel.
Betul.
Ya salah satu kelemahan dari online itu adalah seringkali anak-anak tuh nggak tahu nih, asal baca semua dimasukin ke cerna gitu ya, dan ternyata belum tentu 50%-nya itu benar. Terus kita nggak bisa mengenai future ya, future trends. Menurut OBC sendiri yang di bisa dia. Menurut Bapak Ibu, teman-teman semuanya, kira-kira 10 tahun lagi bisa apa sih atau pekerjaan apa sih yang kira-kira bakal dicari orang? Misalnya keluar terus sebagai kaya. Harus sendiri. Karena banyak ini ya, mesti banyak datang visual. Ada yang dan analis. Nah, gue sendiri kan ini 10 tahun lalu nggak ada di SMJ itu juga. Michael, what do you think about the future trends? What kind of major that actually comes to mind?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting question. If you asked old people like me when I was at university, then it was more of a pattern of having a career for life. And I've noticed that we've had the career of accountancy has been mentioned several times already. I have to say, as we look forwards, I think accountancy is one of those areas that's going to be going down. Because that's going to be just increasingly automated. You know, we pop our credit card in or we scan our QR code to make the payment, and the systems will all be there. So if we look back at careers, it would be a case that you did your university degree and then you'd have your career for life, and maybe you just stay in the same company. Perhaps you become a little bit more senior, but for life. Going forwards, that's all going to change, and is all changing already. And the difficult thing with the question that you've asked is that I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years' time. So if I come back and just think about my brother, when my brother was at university, he studied product design. And if you asked him what job he was going to do, he'd never be able to tell you what he does today. And also, he wouldn't have imagined that it is as international as he has felt, because he was product design engineering. So really, you sort of think about this being maybe a quiet job, not really customer facing, not really traveling around the world. But actually, he works for a company where he designs the chips that make touchscreen phones work. Yeah. And when we were at school and he was at university, there were no mobile phones, right? So there's no way that he could have told you that job. And now he's based in the UK. One of their key customers is Samsung. So that's now Korean. And Samsung want to make the Galaxy Fold. Yeah, so now they're talking to a UK company about how does the chip work, but the actual screen is made in Taiwan and it's put together in China. Yeah, so he never sort of thought about A, that job because it didn't exist, and B, the international element. So I think one of the key things for students, I think we've spoken a lot about, think about areas that you're interested in. I think it's really exciting looking forwards, because if you look at it in one way, students are unlikely to be stuck in one job for the whole of their careers. So that's really exciting that there's going to be change and diversity, and they're going to be able to move through these things. On the other side, maybe that's a bit scary. Yeah. So I'm parent of twin daughters. I would like to be very assured that my daughters have got a nice, safe career. Yeah. But actually, the world isn't like that. So we need to make sure that happiness, I think, was a key point that we've said. Transferable skills, resilience is going to come through. And there's lots of talk of tech, right? And clearly tech is everywhere. So everything to do with renewable resources, renewable energy, driverless transport, AI, all of that is kind of quite apparent to us now as we go forwards. And there will be people that are in tech that are doing, if you like, the little bit more of the engineering kind of aspects of that. Yeah. So how do I write programs? How do I build this battery that's eco-friendly, etc. But the other thing is, when I'm talking to students, and again, this idea of people who want their own businesses, yeah, I want to be the next Facebook or Elon Musk or whatever else, these type of ideas. But the point is that those people aren't actually the technical people, yeah? These people have generally got much more of a liberal arts type of background, yeah? Which generally we're thinking, tech is the way forward, so I must study something. But actually, if you want to be the person who's got the new ideas tomorrow, it's probably more liberal arts, understanding people, predicting what needs there will be in the future, what problems people need to have solved, and then you employ the tech people who can then deliver on that. So yeah, a little bit to think about that. Actually, STEM, a lot of that STEM really comes out of liberal arts background. But resilience and transferable skills. And I think you said be happy and be brave.
Yeah.
And patience. That was the other word. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Kalau kami mengadakan seperti talent mapping ya, kita lakukan assessment, kita nggak bisa bilang 100% perfect. Karena ada juga, misalnya ada anak, contohnya some of my client come to my office, aduh, I bosen disuruh mami tes minat bakat melulu. Dia isi dari A, dari nomor 1 sampai 50, A semua. Bagaimana saya mau analisa, betul ya Bapak Ibu ya? Tapi makanya kalau saya menghadapi anak yang mau doing talent mapping ya, saya bilang, you udah bayar loh, dan nggak murah. I mau you isinya sungguh-sungguh supaya kita bisa bantu kamu. Kenapa saya bilang penting? Ya, kalau zaman dulu seperti Miss Yonela bilang, dokter, betul ya, insinyur, ya karena in my family satu keluarga minimal 1 dokter. Saya dulu mau juga masuk ke dokter. Terus saya bilang, kalau semuanya keluarga besar kita dokter, siapa yang jadi pasien? Betul. Ya, paman saya dan istrinya dokter, sepupu saya dan suaminya dokter. Dan kami punya dokter-dokter, yang kebetulan saya dari Sulawesi, keluarga kami banyak dokter. We have many doctors in my family. Ketika saya pilih jurusan yang berbeda, my family look at me with weird eyes, gitu ya. Tapi kita juga harus tahu, like 10 years after now, what will you can do? What can you do with this? Ya, jadi butuh nggak? At least there is expertise can guide you step by step. Oh, you ada di sini. Your soft skill. Oh, you're good when you are speaking. You're good when you are thinking, critical thinking. Well, which area is related with your critical thinking? Jadi misalnya one day ada anak remaja, teenagers, like my client before, I want to be a chef, I don't care. Even the mom and the dad, no, child. That's why change. And before, there is a student come to my office and said that, Miss, I cannot do mathematics. Oh my God, mathematics is so horrible for me. Aku bisa apa? Sometimes mereka begitu ya. Ketika saya coba explore, after doing the assessment, I explore. What is your hobby? I like to diving. I like to dive with my mom. Okay. Anything else? No. Okay. Have you ever take the underwater picture? Dia foto underwater pictures and I said that try to review in your social media. You know what she did? She do it. And I guide her until she got scholarship 80% abroad. Without saying mathematics, no. Some students very afraid with mathematics, agree? Even there is so many lessons for mathematics, oh my God. But so many major without mathematics, not say without, lower mathematics can be handled. Is it agree, sir?
I agree. Oh, am I on?
Yeah.
I agree, but I was thinking as well, two things about mathematics, because it is one of those subjects that kind of divides people. Some people love mathematics for the problem solving.
Yes.
Yeah, and they just love the challenge of having this technical problem. That's not me. Yeah. But there are people that enjoy that, which is fantastic that we've got different people in the world. If I go to a maths class and somebody said, right, today we're doing quadratic equations, I'm running away. Yeah, I'm like super scared.
Me too, sir.
And for two reasons. One, it just sounds scary and it sounds difficult, but also because I'm not sure what I use that for.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that when mathematics in a kind of pure sense of mathematics for mathematics is one thing, but maths is everything, as you mentioned before.
Agreed.
So I think it can be partly the way that it's taught. Okay, so when we're thinking about teaching and learning, so if we look out the window now and we say, how tall is that building over there?
Mathematics.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so how far away is it? Right, and we can do some simple maths and say, right, okay, that's 120 meters tall or whatever. You've just done trigonometry. Did I? Right, that's fantastic. So now I've got confidence.
Yes.
And sorry, just to add, then what we would do in our classes is say, right, these type of, so we're building confidence and making it applied so you can see why it's relevant and how you use it.
Agree.
And then talking about, okay, so this is used in these type of professions.
Yes.
Yeah, so the career advice, if you like, is constantly coming through in the classes. And these are the universities that specialize in those type of areas. So this sort of career counseling isn't totally separate.
Yes.
Sorry.
Mathematics for ladies related with discount. Shopping, agree? When we are going to after that we'll go to the mall, we can sale 20%, we will count very fast. Agree? Yeah. Promo, sale, mathematics. But some of us don't like mathematics because we don't know how to use. When I advise some students to take mathematics, pure mathematics, they said, Miss, one day my son become mathematics teacher. No, mathematics is so many, so wide, very good. Yeah, but if you don't like mathematics in deep, you can find the other major. Not say that, oh, I'm bad in mathematics, I don't want to study this, but you can choose based on your strength, your soft skill, how you speak, how you negotiate, how you persistent with everything you face. This is very related, agree, sir?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was thinking as well of ladies in particular, fashion designers, right? So somebody wants to be a fashion designer, very creative. I don't want maths. It's not going to work. Right? Because if you design a beautiful jacket for a handsome young man like me, you will find out that I'm not very flat. Okay? So you can't just draw the outline. You have to think, right, of how does this work and how does the pattern hold together? That's mathematics.
Yes. Yep. Only 1 millimeter, you cannot sew it well. I learned how to sew it. That's why 1 millimeter, oh my God, make me angry. Yes, fashion design needs mathematics, but how deep the mathematics? If you're doing the computer science, you have to learn about the deeper mathematics than the others. and mechanical engineering. But that's why you need to find the expertise, the person who can guide you. Which one is match with you, with your talent, with your what we can say that passion. You can do it and you like it. There is the real career, and you get earn money. Is it? Agree?
So next topic is about selecting a major, exactly postgraduate studies. For example, I will ask like your I'm Indonesian person. Everything in our organization, as parents and whether or son coming with two valid opinion, I would say valid. The son will always say, I want to study engineer. Put it like a designer. But then the father say, what would you be later on? Like, how would you actually find job later on? So instead of like two opinions that I think it's valid, I can list the parents, I can list the whatever we get to. So my question would be, how do you actually bridge, those two opinions? Because both are valid, because there's no their interest, their social passion, as the parents also concerned whether the future may be your generation, see how good or not. So I don't know. That's funny. You know, take it at first. I'm saying that they must how things actually dibenarkan ketemu yang kayak gitu sering banget sih ya sebetulnya ya. Nah, aku sih selalu nyaranin gitu kan untuk orang tua dan anak-anak itu coba dulu bareng gitu ya. Dilihat lagi tipe jurusannya itu nantinya apakah benar cocok apa enggak. Ya. Jadi dari kedua belah pihak ini juga sebenarnya punya pikiran yang berbeda. Ya, karena kan argumentasi itu biasanya karena salah satunya kan terbuka nih gitu kan namanya terjadi argumentasi ya. Nah, aku mendatangi dengan solusi ini loh. Ini jurusan yang anaknya mau ya. Coba kita lihat dari segi nilai rapot. Nilai rapotnya yang di Indonesia ini mendukung apa enggak sih? Maksudnya ini ya. Kalau misalkan anak bilangnya aku gak suka matematika, balik ke matematika lagi.
It's okay.
Udah gitu dia bilangnya, Pak, aku mau jurusannya computer science. Kan pingsan saya.
Ya.
Gimana tuh? Kan gak mungkin. Atau dia bilang aku gak mau nih tapi fisika lebih gak mungkin lagi juga. Nah, berarti kan sekarang ini sudah kelihatan nih yang kurang realistis yang mana. Nah, tinggal dijelasin gitu kan bahwa pilihannya ini tidak realistis dikarenakan ya kurikulum untuk computer science degree gitu kan apa-apa aja yang dipelajari atau kamu yakin atau tidak gitu kan. Nah, biasanya anak kalau dibutuhkan seperti itu mereka juga kan bisa melihat gitu kan realita keadaan itu seperti apa. Nah, kalau ternyata memang dari segi jurusan dengan nilai minat bakatnya juga terlihat mendukung, tetapi orang tua mungkin kebingungan mengapa jurusan-jurusan tetap dorong bareng ya. Karena orang tua itu kan sekarang mungkin yang generasi tahun 60-70 mungkin ya kalian ya. Iya. Nah di zaman segitu kan ikut jurusan tuh gak sebanyak sekarang. Dan mereka pasti kurang informasi. Nah kita Google barengan nih. Jadi role-nya aku adalah harus bisa mengarahkan mereka untuk melihat research gitu kan informasi dari situs yang relatif. Ya, karena kalau kita cuma bilang ke orang tua ya udah Google aja sendiri. Kalau gitu dia akan nyari di laman yang tepat ya. Ya, itu. Nah, dulu bareng dia, Bu, Pak, ini karirnya ini bisa ke arah sini. Jadi itu sangat luas gitu kan. Berarti kan orang tua juga bisa diundang untuk lebih terbuka ya. So, karena kadang-kadang tuh orang tua langsung antipati karena apa familiar with this gitu loh. So langsung gitu kan modern.
Iya, sering banget ya. Iya. Jadi gini, kadang-kadang kan kita juga mesti mengamati gini. Kalau dibilang, oh pelajarannya udah nggak mendukung Miss, KKM semua. KKM pun pakai remedial. Ya, sekarang gitu kan ya. Yang penting remedial pas, lulus ya. Kita lihat ekstrakurikulernya. Nah, kalau misalnya anak yang mau ambil cita-cita mau jadi fashion designer, kita challenge dia dari mungkin masih SMP, les yuk kursus bikin baju. Gak gampang loh, les kursus bikin baju. Saya contohnya nggak lulus, ngaku aja. Kenapa? Mathematics, when we are doing fashion design, itu only 1 millimeter aja, kita harus very detail. Nggak gampang, nggak cuman oh potong jahit, no, bisa jadi kayak karung nanti. Ya, jadi ada yang bilang gini, aku mau computer science, sekarang lagi naik daun ya, computer science. Coba challenge ya, les coding, coba 3 bulan. Kalau les coding, I love coding, Mam. Oke, gini. Boleh kita pikirkan, tapi kalau baru setengah bulan, Mami coding, udah pusing. Wah, udah. Forget it, computer science. If coding you don't like, because more than 50% is coding. Nah, I want to be doing chemistry engineering. 50% is physics and chemistry. Jadi you have to know the requirement from the major. Terus we find the extracurricular. You like what? What do you like? You like to cook? You like to dance? You like everything? You have to make a list with parents. Talk with parents. Agree with Miss Bonnie. Open the website. Yeah. Oh, this requirement of this. No worries. Karena kalau kita tidak mulai mencari sejak dini, kalau carinya sudah kelas 12, parents-nya harus saya bilang everyday ketemu anak. Ayo duduk di samping papi, mami, ayo kita cari. Kalau saya sangat anjurkan, kelas 10 sudah harus siap-siap. Karena time flies. Grade 10. Bahkan in US we have to prepare grade 9. Ya, jadi kalau baru siap-siap kelas 12, baru naik kelas 12, baru cari psikologis, baru cari jurusan, saya anjurkan setiap hari. Kenapa? Time flies. Total, iya ya udah mau lulusan. Nah, ntar bingung sendiri. Oke? Yes. Nggak bisa. Ya, fashion design need very idea. Ya, sorry, saya tambah. Waktu itu saya ketemu dengan one of the design school. Saya berpikir, oh, orang desain tuh yang penting bisa gambar. Very wrong. They give me two pieces of papers. There is one piece of paper written that sofa. One piece of paper written that durian. What will you make with these two pieces of paper? Design, the idea.
I think the whole thing, sorry, I was interested, and obviously I don't understand everything you were saying, but around the areas of design, I think parents and students now are actually are more open to a wider range of careers than they might have been, dare I say, pre-COVID. I think after COVID, the importance of being happy and comfortable with yourself is more understood. But also in areas like design, so I'm going to pick that up. If I spoke to parents 15 years ago and somebody, a daughter said to me that I want to study art and design, the parents are thinking, how is my daughter going to be Picasso or Monet or like some classic artist, right? How many people achieve that? And what I would say, I would see the lady there with the very nice designer clothes, and think about, so I talk to them and say, okay, so see the chair that you're sitting on, the handbag that you've got, the microphone that I have here, the car that you came in, the glasses that somebody designed all of that. Yeah. And increasingly now we've got lots of digital design and web design and all of those type of areas. So the range of careers actually, for me, seems to be even broader than it ever was before. And I just wanted to mention another area. So maths we've spoken about loads of times, and quite often people say maths is a great subject as a pure subject. It is if you're good at it, you like it, and it's what you want to do going forwards. Otherwise, it's a rubbish subject, right? In its pure form. But things like medicine, okay? So another area that I get lots of people that say, oh, I want to be a doctor, right? And I say, well, why do you want to be a doctor? And they're kind of thinking white coat and stethoscope, right? Nobody wears a white coat in medicine anymore unless it's for show, for photos. So that's one thing. So all these things are out of date. But in terms of medicine, it's such a broad field. It's not all about being the surgeon, because I've seen that on TV. And I think some of the stuff that we're talking about, sort of kind of enrichment and things, being a great scientist is very important to be a doctor, but being a great scientist doesn't make you a good doctor.
Yeah.
There are other skills and attributes. So if I'm the surgeon, I'm the boss, right? So I need to be calm under pressure. I need to be a leader. I need to be able to communicate effectively. This isn't bedside manner. This is, I need this now, right? And we don't worry too much about, oh, how's your mum? Did you have a nice breakfast, right? Because I'm in a hurry, yeah? And we think about, is that you? And then with your careers, activities, and the things you do outside, how am I really a leader? Actually, no, I like to stay in the background, but I love research, okay? Now, a person who's going to pursue a career in research actually may very well be the person who discovers the cure for cancer, the vaccine for COVID, the new prosthetics, all of this kind of use of technology. Sometimes people look at it and say, ah, yeah, but they're not a doctor. No, they're not a doctor. They're the person who's discovering the new science, and they're going to be training the doctors. Yeah, it's not a fail. Everybody kind of adds in a different way. So, yeah, just some of that kind of traditional is medicine is much broader than you think. You know, design is much broader than you think, and I think people are much more open to that now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jam malam.
Okay, so it's interesting when we think about boarding schools, and also thinking about different ages of students. Okay, and we've been talking a lot about careers and university, etc. So I'm going to take this question in line of students who are looking at that kind of middle high school, senior high school progression type area. So many people, when they think about a boarding school in the UK, and I've heard a couple of words of Hogwarts, right? You're thinking about this traditional castle, yeah? And that's a beautiful image, yeah, of this lovely, lovely castle. Maybe it's on top of a mountain somewhere. and it's surrounded by beautiful grass and trees and lakes. And then maybe outside there's a great big wall that surrounds this big area and big iron gates and a big lock on the front. And this is somewhere where I'm preparing students in order to be responsible, independent young adults that can get to themselves to university on time, that can work as part of a team, everything else. Yeah. So this sort of traditional image is very good on film, okay, but we're in central Jakarta. Yeah, your students are used to shopping malls. Okay, there's shopping malls everywhere in Indonesia. Yeah, so you put them into on top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, and they're allowed to go out to the local village for maybe 3 hours once a week. I think you're going to get lots of complaints. Yeah, I had a mother in Hong Kong, and she was talking to her daughter, and the daughter had said, "Oh, Mum, I want to go to school. Look at this beautiful school up on this mountain. Look at the sheep." And the mother said, "Darling, counting sheep is an activity to send you to sleep, not to get you to a top university." Right? So I think we need to think about the stages of kind of education. And really what we're trying to do, as you said, students in Indonesia will very often be taken to a school by the driver, right? And then they get handed through the gate, and the mum goes off and has her nice, I'm being very rude now, has her nice hair done and nails and everything else. Oh, it's time to, my kid's coming home, right? And the driver comes back. The school are happy because they finished. Yeah, and now mum's back and looking after the child. It's different when we're in the UK because mum or dad isn't there. We're not going to have a driver. We're not going to have a maid, right? These students are going to need to learn how to become independent, responsible young adults. So I say it's a little bit like teaching a child to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
Okay, to start with, we have to hold on. But if we never let go, how are they going to learn? So we need a sort of guided independence, yeah? So we let go a little bit, but we're still there to catch them and guide them to make sure nothing goes wrong. But when they leave us, then they're able to go to university and have their own ideas and be responsible. Because at university, nobody's going to come and do their washing for them. Yeah, and all of these other type of skills. And another consideration that I would say is when we're thinking about this beautiful castle out in the countryside, and maybe they've got horses for horse riding. How many of you horse ride? Play rugby? Right? You're all scared to death of rugby because you think it's like mixed martial arts or something. Yeah? Why would I want to do that in December in the UK? There's snow on the ground. What are you doing? Right? And it's not what's going to get you into uni. If you want to do that, you can do it a little bit, but it's not the main thing. So how much of your tuition fee is being paid for all of that ground to be carefully looked after and beautifully maintained? Yeah, how much do those horses cost? And who's looking after the horses and the vet bills and everything else? Is that where you want your tuition fee to go? Right? I think at this stage of getting to university, we need to be realistic about what is it that we're trying to do. And it is a period of transition. Mm-hmm. But boarding schools like us as well, when you're thinking about school in Indonesia, right? So I drop my driver drops my child off at school, right? And then they pick them up again and the school's finished, right? And now it all comes back to me. But when students join us in the UK, actually, we're their accommodation, right? We're their laundry, we're their food, we're their internet access, we're their social program, we're their kind of careers guidance, counselors, personal development. So there's a lot that we do, but we're there all the time, guiding them through to be that kind of responsible, independent young adult. And the last thing I'll say is, I'm dad as well, I said before, right? If I tell my daughter something, obviously I'm wrong because I'm dad, okay? If Bonnie tells my daughter something, obviously she's right because she's not parent. So it's actually quite good for us. We think the same thing as you. And very often parents say to me, I told my son that, but he didn't listen to me. Yeah, but he will listen to me just because I'm somebody different. So we kind of act a little bit as an extension, if you like, from the parents. You do need to let go, right? Because it's irresponsible to keep your child. They're not your pets. They've got their own life and they need to develop that too. It's nervous for us as parents, but it's kind of part of our responsibility to do that in a correct way.
Ya, dibagikan dua-duanya. Tapi saya hanya bawa untuk 20 students, minimum 14 years old. Kalau mau dikerjakan di sini juga boleh. Saya masih punya waktu lebih dari 1 jam. Ya, saya boleh minta lembaran untuk saya jelaskan. Ya. Bagi adik-adik yang sudah dapat, saya mencoba memetakan tentang soft skill adik-adik. Ya, jadi 2 lembar ini saya sebenarnya membawa pensil. Di tas saya ada pensil, dompet yang pensil. Ya, kita lihat di lembar pertama. Lembar pertama ini, ya. Ada tulisan 1 dan 2. Jadi yang nanti ya silakan. Kalau adik-adik bawa pensil atau bolpen boleh, nggak apa-apa. Kalau mau pinjem saya siapkan, ya. Jadi ada lembar pertama, lembar doodle 1. Nah, tugasnya simple, cuma menggambar, ya, cuma menggambar, ya. Jadi gambarlah, ini ada 6 kotak, ya, 6 kotak digambar bebas gambarnya apa. Pakai pensil, terus nanti ketika digambar ditulis urutannya. Yang mana dimulai duluan? Mulai duluan yang mana? Ya. Nah. Ya, dimulai duluan yang mana? Digambar aja dan dikasih judul. Waktu yang diberikan untuk 1 lembar ini 15 menit. Dan untuk yang lembar kedua instruksinya sama, 15 menit juga. Kalau adik-adik sudah selesai, bisa lapor ke bagian tim AECC Nanti kalau memang bersedia, kita adakan Zoom, saya akan terjemahkan soft skill-nya. Apa yang bisa diperbaiki, apa yang bisa digali lebih dalam. Karena saya lakukan ini lebih dari 10 tahun. Dan most of the student, when I do mapping, they said, Miss, are you a stalker? No, I'm not a stalker. I just try to explore your talent, because some students, some teenagers, they say that I don't have any talent, but when I see this, maybe if they have time, they make a short essay, I can see about their talents. Sometimes I said, students who came to me, I said, don't you know you are a diamond, but you put yourself as a diamond in the black box. So you don't know about your talent. And some students will be surprised about their talent. Miss, how come I have this? Yes. And after they explore more, they said, yes, Miss, I know I can do it. Like before the student, I said, pencil. Ini ada, silakan dibuka aja. Mungkin kalau mau, saya mungkin hanya baca 5 paling maksimal. Nanti yang lain itu bisa hubungin, nanti kita ketemu di online. Tapi hubungin dengan tim AECC, karena by appointment. Ya. Ya. Iya. Mumpung free ya. Kalau di luar, no, you have to pay. It's okay. Pertama, Ibu, memang kadang-kadang kita ragu memilih jurusan, betul nggak ya? Aduh, saya pilih ini. If I take chemical engineering, next-nya mau ambil apa? Saya mau ini. Pertama, tidak hanya on paper kita lulus chemical engineering. Kita membutuhkan yang namanya network. Social skill itu sangat penting. Network, how you speak in front of the people, itu sangat penting. Jadi misalnya ada lulusan, maaf adik mau ambil jurusan apa? Aktuaria. Oke, aktuaria itu bisa dibilang high level mathematics. High level mathematics, ya. Saya berani bilang high level karena beberapa klien saya udah begitu masuk aktuaria, Miss, it's so hard, but you know the prospect, ya. The actuaria, you know, the prospect is very cool. And the next 10 years, ya, saya mau bilang gini, simple analoginya. Bu, tukang bakmi banyak, betul ya? Di Indonesia tukang bakmi banyak kan ya? Tapi yang bakmi 80.000 masih laku kan, Bu? Betul nggak? Karena apa? Enak? kualitas networknya, sosial medianya keren. Jadi bukan hanya bakminya enak, tapi bagaimana networknya kita membangun itu luar biasa. Aktuaria, the next 10 years menurut saya masih sangat dibutuhkan. Karena yang bisa itu sangat sedikit. Ya, jadi kalau adik merasa tidak percaya diri, ambil aktuaria. Pertama, kita lihat persistennya dia orang yang tangguh nggak? Karena belajar aktuarium nggak bisa hari ini dapat 50 langsung, aduh nggak bisa. Oke, hari ini 50, besok saya harus 70. Besok kita belajar membuat goal setting. Jadi membuat target. Kalau kita buat target, kita harus kadang-kadang pakai kacamata kuda. Tahu Bapak Ibu? Goal saya nggak peduli orang lain bilang, lu bodoh ambil aktuaria, nggak ada jurusannya itu, nggak ada duitnya, don't care. Ketika saya ambil jurusan psikologi pendidikan, bukan hanya ini, ya keluarga, teman, lu gila lu psikologi pendidikan, ngurusin orang gila. 30 tahun yang lalu, itu saya alami. S2 lagi psikologi pendidikan, kurang kerjaan. Now, I have my own company. Nah, betul ya, Bu? Jadi, oke, kalau adik mau ambil aktuaria, adik harus tahu bahwa untuk menjadi seorang aktuaris, ada kurang lebih 7-10 level ujian. Ambil certified.
What was the question?
Panjang jalannya, tapi you harus tough. Actuarials, to take actuarials is not a simplified like bachelor. They have certified like exam, like 7 level, I don't know the levels in certified. Benar-benar jadi aktuaris. Tapi ketika you reach your dream jadi aktuaris, oh, you're very cool. That is the point. Betul. To be tough, actually. Transferable skills.
Transferable skills. Yeah. So just to take an example, I kind of come across back to actuarial science. We'll keep a theme going. Yeah. So if we were talking about in the UK, we mentioned that we specialize a bit earlier. So when we get to kind of year 12, 13, pre-university, we're into probably 3 subject areas, because when you enter a degree in the UK, you're straight into your major. Yeah? So this might sound quite tough. And the way that I look at this in terms of subject choice, I'll do subject choice, I'll do transferable skills. So subject choice, when we're here and we've covered everything, if we envisage the world of all the doors are open, yeah, I could do anything going forwards. And very often students don't know what they want to do, right? And so therefore it's a bit difficult. So sometimes it's easier to think, well, what don't you want to do, right? So sometimes I'll talk to students and say, right, what subjects you like at school, what subjects don't you like? Sometimes with that, it can be the way that the subject's taught, but anyway, that's a different question. So let's take a subject like biology, yeah? So a student says, well, I don't like biology. So if we stop biology, we don't carry on with biology, what does that mean? Well, it means that you're not going to be a doctor. Is that okay? Yeah, because I don't like biology anyway. I'm not going to do biochem. So you're only closing subjects that you're not interested in. But if you did study sciences, I said about a doctor before, right? So if you want to be a doctor, maths, biology, and chemistry, really important. But studying maths, biology, and chemistry doesn't make you a great doctor. We mentioned about other skills. And now I'll come kind of to your question of, if you study sciences, if we study chemistry, we're going to learn about the periodic table. Yeah? Okay, that's great. That's in all chemistry all over the world. No problem at all. We understand that. And that's very useful if you want to be a chemist or you want to go into pharmacy or those type of things. Although actually these days, the knowledge is on your phone, right? So trying to learn facts and figures and whatever else, actually most of that we can get anyway. The important thing is about how do you apply it and about skills. So if we've studied sciences, one of the things that we're doing is the way that we think. So we approach a problem either trying to prove something is right or wrong, or having a theory and saying kind of what would happen if I did this. Yeah, and that's just scientific thinking. So I think that if I mix these two chemicals together at this temperature, it will result in this. So I test it under different conditions and I come to a conclusion before I go out and do it outside and blow up the world. Yeah, so that's a good thing. But that type of approach is as important for somebody who's working as a financial planner, investment banker, actuarial science, etc., right? Because before you take my $1 million, which I haven't got, right? But before you take my $1 million, I want to be sure that that's going to go up, not down, right? So somebody's scientific thinking about what will happen if is really important, and that's nothing to do with chemicals. It's the thinking, yeah. But it's also important in an area like law, right? So what people think, or what students think happens in law, is they watch far too much TV and they think it's all about the guy in the courtroom getting the person off, right? And quite often, actually, if I talk to them, you don't really want to get the person off anyway, but it's a tiny part of law, and it's not really what law does. If you've got to the courtroom, something's gone wrong, right? Because the whole idea of law is to think about what if, similar to a scientist. So what will happen if this happens? What will happen if this happens? And then you put contracts together to try and avoid going to court later. So that's this sort of thing about transferable skills. Exactly that, yeah.
Analytical thinking.
Analytical thinking. So if my cousin is a partner in a law firm in London, and she works in commercial law, but it's commercial law all about property, right? So we're in Jakarta and there's lots of building going on. So if I want to make a new building, to try and find a brownfield, a greenfield site, it's probably quite difficult. Probably something's happened before. So now, if I'm going to buy this building and I'm going to pull it down, I don't know what's underneath. Yeah. So her job as the contract is all thinking about, but what happens if I get underneath there and there's a chemical leak? So that's analysis, of thinking about what problem could there be in the future. It's scientific. Right. So there's a big teaching and learning are two different things. Yeah. So teaching, I've got a platform here. I've got a suit on, right, and I'm a teacher. So I could stand up and kind of grab power, right, and I'll talk at you for an hour, and then I'll expect you to remember, and then later we'll do an exam, and I'll see if you remember what I said. Yeah. And then I'll say, oh yeah, you're a lovely young lady, but you could do better. Yeah. But for me, actually, I don't question the student, I question the teacher, right? Because if the teacher's saying you could do better, my question to the teacher is, well, what are you doing to help the student do better, right? Which kind of comes into this idea of trying just to remember facts. That's all gone, right? It's all on Google. I've spoken to students overseas. There was a student in Hanoi that I spoke to in a top school in Hanoi, and he said, oh, I was thinking of going to Cambridge University, but it's very old, and all the knowledge is very old. So I think I might go to Harvard or Yale because they're newer, and the knowledge is new, right? So this kid has got this idea that you go into the library at Cambridge and you take out a dusty book, right, and learn this old knowledge, put it back, and you put it into an exam. That's not what happens. Right, the good universities are, they've got this much knowledge at the moment. When you come as a student, you'll look at that knowledge, but you should add more. Right? It's the thinking about, okay, so this business strategy, this whatever else, that was correct under these circumstances maybe 10 years ago, right? But is that still true today? Now I need to think, how am I going to test that? Yeah, and how am I going to prove this theory? That's analytical thinking skills. And that could be about a psychology problem. It could be about all sorts of different areas. Yeah, so this transferable skills, it's hard to kind of define precisely, but you've spoken about soft skills.
Yeah.
So communication skills are important in all walks of life, but they're more important or directly important than some than others. Anything to do with media, journalism, what we're doing now, we're communicating. Yeah. Whereas if you're a scientist who's researching something, you know, in a lab somewhere, but you'll still need to communicate.
Yes.
And art and design, to pick up on another area we've spoken about, art and design is all about communication. Right? So what you're trying to do through fashion design, through interior design, you're trying to create an image. Right? You're trying to communicate that I'm very sophisticated. Christian Dior, yeah? It's all about like Parisian style and prestige and a little bit kind of confidence. That's what I'm trying to exude. Yeah. So whatever colors we're using, shapes we're using, it's a form of communication. But while you're studying art and design, you need to say, right, I did design this because of this, and this is what I'm trying to communicate. Or somebody will come to you, Garuda will come to you and they'll say, right, I want new uniforms for all the Garuda crew. And we'll say, great, okay, what do you want to communicate? Well, I want to communicate part of the culture of who we are, but I want to create, to promote that we're a very modern society. So how do you communicate that? It will be the color, it will be the shape, it will be the material. So it's all kind of communication. Does that answer your question?
Nanti dibacainnya private aja.
And it is actually just while they're talking. So things like extracurricular activities we've spoken about, okay? I see loads of students that have got a nice plastic file, and here's their 5-meter swimming badge, and here's their 10-meter swimming badge, and here's their public speaking competition, and here's their piano lesson, and whatever else, right? So one thing that tells me is mum does lots of things for the student and gets them enrolled in lots of clubs, right? That's one thing it tells me. But people kind of tick off, oh, I need to do extracurricular activities because that's good. Mm-hmm. Well, it's good to try lots of different things, and actually just learning about lots of different things. You go to the opera. Did you enjoy opera? Yes, no. Even if you didn't enjoy it, at least you know what it is, right? And now you can talk to somebody else about it and you can understand. But the key 2 words for me with everything to do with extracurricular is so what, right? Which sounds a bit hard. Yeah, so this nice student comes to me and here's my 5-meter, here's my 10-meter, here's my swim. So I say, so what? Yeah. And what I'm actually saying to them is, so what does that mean? Right? So what are you trying to tell me? So what did you learn from that experience? So what do you want to learn more about in the future? So I was captain of the football team. And, yeah, so what? Actually, I developed my my skills of being a team player, thinking about strategy, thinking about the importance of preparation and research through my captaincy of the football team. Before we go into the game next week, I research into our opponents to see the strategy that they might use to play. I think about our team and how I'm going to adopt my strategy and how I might change that halfway through the game. I think about the different players and the different skills that I need on board. I think about how to motivate my team before we get out. Yeah. So you can see that there's I'm captain of the football team. Yeah. There's nothing, but there's loads there that you can pull out that's transferable skills. I was just thinking, have we got a last question or not? If you haven't got one, I had another thought. You asked me about careers, right? And thinking about going forwards. And I spoke about stuff that's all on planet Earth, right? Now, when we're thinking about the future, now you think I'm a bit crazy, right? But bear with me a second, right? How many of you got a mobile phone with you, right? How's that communicating? How did you get here today with your GPS? Right? Where did that come from? Right? Satellites up there, yeah? And we see Elon Musk and his SpaceX and everything else. That travel for holiday will come, but kind of leave that because that's going to be minor. Okay? But how many satellites are up there now? Who owns space? Right? Think about the law of space. Right? Think about actually what do we do with all the rubbish that's up there? Think about how, and this like not very nice, but think about how warfare could change in the future. Because if you control space, right, and who owns it and who's going to have which bit of it and everything else, resources, right? So people are already going onto the moon, trying to discover what natural resources are there. Is there water? Could we live there? Could we get some of these precious minerals and things from the moon rather than digging up the planet that we live on? Right? And it sounds a little bit crazy, but it's happening now. And if we're thinking about our children who are 14, 15, right? If we think about by the time they're 20, by the time they're 25, all this stuff is going to be happening. There's going to be a whole thing about law around space and all the technology and then the transport and actually getting to the moon and then what the next hop is and whatever else. So when I think about that, initially I think, oh yeah, Michael, you're just talking rubbish, right? But actually, we use it every day. So again, these kind of careers that didn't exist before, but are going to be there in the future.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
But you're using GPS every day.
Lebih dari awal saya mau masukkan yang ini juga football jadi dia selalu tentang
Umurnya berapa, Bu? Ya, 14 tahun itu waktunya explore, nggak apa-apa, Bu. Jadi nanti ketika setelah 14 akan masuk 15, mulai Ibu masukkan untuk tes bakat minat. Apakah pernah tes bakat minat, Bu? Nanti 14, biasanya sih kenapa kita minimal 14? Karena itu potensi mulai terlihat, sebenarnya udah ada, mulai keluar itu setelah umur 14, 15, 16, dan memang umur 14 itu maksa eksplorasi, nggak apa-apa, Bu. Dia suka bola, apa. Tapi bagaimana dia bisa menghafal, betul ya, Bu? Coachingnya ini, siapa tim ini, lomba ini, kapan lombanya, liganya, apa rules-nya, itu bicara bagaimana dia mengingat, Bu, semuanya. Logicalnya, rules-nya, ini menang, ini begini, itu bicara logika, Bu. Karena ada satu teori yang namanya multiple intelligence by Howard Gardner, itu bicara bahwa kepintaran anak kalau zaman dulu kan IQ ya, IQ lu mah di bawah 120 mah begini ya. Tapi sekarang kita punya minimal 8 kecerdasan yang kita bisa pilih 4 tertinggi. Nah, ketika Ibu ketemu dengan psikologis atau counselor yang melakukan mapping, kita biasanya akan pilih 4 tertinggi. Nah, 4 tertinggi itu yang kita bisa explore lebih lagi. Kalau anak Ibu suka olahraga, dia bisa mengingat dengan baik. Terus dia bisa bilang, oh ini lombanya ini harusnya begini nih, harus kipernya harus di sini, harus ini. Itu bicara logika. logical thinking-nya. Jadi bukan berarti, oh harus jadi atlet, enggak juga. Logical thinking, one day mungkin dia bisa jadi orang yang behind the stage yang bikin strategi. Oh biar menang nih, ini MU nih harus begini, gini. Itu, ya sorry saya sebut label, ya yang suka sepak bola, itu pasti orang yang suka sepak bola akan bilang, wah strateginya gini, harusnya begini. Itu bicara logical. Kalau matematika dia nggak suka, mungkin diteliti. Maaf, saya tidak menyalahkan dunia pendidikan. Dulu saya paling sebel sama pelajaran matematika dan fisika. Gak ada guru matematika fisika kan? Tapi ketika saya bertemu dengan guru yang tepat, Bapak Ibu, yang dari 60 ke 90 nilainya, kadang-kadang bisa beda banget. Gak apa-apa Bu, explore, kita pelan-pelan. Karena nanti you will surprise when he becomes 16, 15, 17, he will surprise. Kita temukan pelan-pelan, karena nggak bisa kita bilangin, oh tes IQ, matematik lu mah jelek lah, nggak bisa gitu kan? No. Kadang-kadang yang di bawah yang saya bilang, apa hobimu? Aku cuma bisanya diving sama my mom, aku nggak suka sama math. Sekarang sekolah bisnis di abroad, dia dapat scholarship 80%, 1 tahun cuma bayar 20 juta. Murah kan? Dari writing, dia punya linguistik 2 thumbs up. Writing, dia bilang, sebelum dia lulus SMA, dia bilang, dia panggil, Miss, aku udah bikin profile company lu, aku udah nulis buat company itu in English, and I got paid. Can you imagine that? Nah, jadi dia datang ke saya, my math is very low, how come I can be successful person? No worries, we have 8 until 9 multiple intelligence, and we can explore yours. Yeah. Related with sports.
So I don't understand all of that Indonesian, apologies, right? But there are loads of degrees, if we're thinking about that, and careers related into sport. So the obvious one comes into, right, are you going to be the sports player?
Yeah.
Right? Sports coaching, you mentioned sports psychology, sports therapy, all of the kind of business of sport. If you think about, I think you mentioned football, so if we talk about Premier League football, FIFA, now think about FIFA computer games, right? There's a kind of all of those spin-off, the kit, right? All of that sports merchandising, people do sports travel, somebody needs to design the stadium. I'm a sports fan, right? Although my football team is not very good in the UK. We're just looking at the moment about sports safety in the stadium, right? So sports safety, sports security. We're actually looking at the acoustics in the stadium so that the home team get more noise than the opposition. There's all the catering and hospitality that sits around that. There's the ground maintenance. Literally, there are so many degrees and careers that sit around sport. It's not immediate because you kind of think, oh, he likes football, but I don't think he's going to be a football player. But there's loads and loads and loads of degrees. And there are very specialized degrees. I know of like particularly in the UK and the US. I was looking at one for football for for one of our colleagues actually the other day, and I just had a very quick look online and found over 60 degrees that were related specifically to football, right, in the UK. Different sports, different things. There's just everything you can think of, to be honest. Yeah, and there's a science side, there's a business side, there's a psychology side,
Yes.
all sorts of things, yeah.
Yeah. Ya, ya. Paling 5 menit. Nanti.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.